Hey everyone, hope you're all keeping very well. Thank you for joining me today. Done a bit of dyeing out in the shed here, and today I'm going to dye. I have a Vineyards Hares Mask here that I bought a while ago, and today I'm going to dye this golden olive. So stick with me and I will show you the process of dyeing a hare's ear. Same process can be followed for rabbit fur and the like as well, okay? But like I said, stick with me. What I have here is I have my one ring hob. It's turned up to the last at the moment. I have a chip pan full of cold water, or not full, but quarter of it full with quarter full with cold water. Going to bring that up to temperature, and then I'm going to add the dye. The dye I'm using is Vineyards dye. I love Vineyards dye. It's a really good dye to use. It's golden olive and comes with full instructions as well on how to dye. And then for the finishing process, after I've dyed, I have a basin of just normal clear water, cold water. And this is to rinse the hare's mask once I'm finished dyeing it. So what we'll do is, I'm going to leave this aside because we won't need this just yet. So I'll leave that down there on the floor, just on my way. And what we're going to do is, I'm going to wait just for this to come up to temperature, and then we're going to get stuck into the dyeing. So I'm going to it's going to take probably about 5 minutes for this to come up to temperature. I don't want it boiling, but I just want it hot enough. Now, when I'm dyeing furs or wild feathers, Vineyards I'm not too worried about because I know they're treated and they're treated to a good standard, so you won't ever get any mites or nasties on these, because obviously Vineyard have treated them. But if you're harvesting your own furs and you're dyeing your own, furs, and harvesting your own feathers and stuff like that and dyeing them, same thing, there's always there's always the risk of little nasties, little mites, ticks, things like that on them. So it's very important to kill them. And when you're dyeing, having the water to a kind of a boiling temperature will ensure that everything is killed. But like I said, Vineyards I'm not worried about. I bought this, so this is cured. The Vineyards have done all that for me, so all you have to do is just dye it. So I'm not going to quite bring this up to boiling temperature, but I want it hot because I need to break up and dissolve the dye, so it'll need to be hot. So I'm going to let this come up to temperature and then we'll come back to you. It's going to take about 5 minutes. Okay, so it's coming up to temperature now. It's just starting to frizz, and it's not quite boiling, but it's starting to frizz and stuff. So what we can do now is we can add our dye. You want it hot because you need to dissolve the dye. The golden olive is a really good colour. It's a really good colour for hare's masks, and like I always like to add a good bit of golden olive to it to get a good olivey colour. It's a really nice kind of after colour once you have the finished article. Now you can mix dyes as well. I've often mixed a kind of a darker olive, a tiny bit of a darker olive into it, just to get the desired effect. And one might just do that. Golden olive is a really good colour, but to get the desired effect that I want, what I will do is I'll add a little tiny bit of dark olive, and just to demonstrate, you don't want too much now because this is really going to change the colour of the water and the dye. That should be enough. And you can see how that's just darkened down there now. It's darkened down the dye, so it's a nice colour there. And what we're going to do is make sure and put these back into the proper thing so I don't mix them up. Okay, so I'm going to turn this down now. No need to have it boiling. And we'll leave that there, and we can get our hare's mask now. So, nice hare's mask, good quality. And what we're going to do now is just pop it in, first side down, just like that. And what we're going to do is just going to leave it in that there, and you can see automatically, you can see straight away it starts to take on the dye. So we're just going to leave that in it. Leave it in for 10 minutes, no harm. Let it absorb a good bit of dye, and you can take it out and you can kind of have a look. There's no need to keep moving it around, but you just want to have a look at it. Just make sure have a look, see what way it's taking on the dye. So what I'm going to do is add a bit more to it. Just dissolve that up there. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to leave that in for 10 minutes. Now, oven is turned off, or the hob is turned off there, so that'll gradually get cooler. There's no need to boil it, that's hot enough. And I'm going to leave that for about 10 minutes, and I'm just going to let it absorb the dye, and then we'll go to the next stage. Okay, so now that it's been about it hasn't been quite 10 minutes, but I'm happy with the level of dye that it's taken on. You can see there it's taken on a nice olivey colour. So what I'm going to do now is grab my clear water, and we're going to set the dye. Very important to set the dye. Don't forget to set the dye. Drop a bit of vinegar in. Industrial grade vinegar, that is. Stir it around. And that assures that the dye will not come out or wash out. Okay. So that's locked that dye in on the Hares Mask now effectively. So what we can do now is, you can put this in, I don't know, it's just my routine, it's just the method I do it. You could put the vinegar in when you're mixing the dye, no problem, it still works the same way. It's just my method. And what we're going to do now is just give it a thorough rinsing. Good rinsing. Okay. And now we can just move these over, and what we'll do is we're going to dry it now. So just getting a cloth, and we'll just pat dry it. So just like that. You can see just how olively it's just a lovely olive colour, it's just really nice. And what it is, it's golden olive and then a tinge of dark olive, a tiny bit of dark olive, just to tone it down a bit, and it just gives you that lovely olively effect. And this is what I use to tie all my olive, or to make all my olive dubbing. You get a lot of dubbing off a Hares Mask, believe it or not. So we don't need that now, so I'll just leave that outside. And what we can do now is we'll pop that there, and now we're going to start drying. So hair dryer, and we're going to go thoroughly through it. Now, very important to thoroughly dry this, okay? You can't have any moisture on this at all. It can't be damp or anything, because what happens is when you put this away in storage and there's any moisture on it, mold is going to set in, and it's going to become all moldy and unusable. And if you have that mixed with other materials, then mold will get onto the other materials. So very important, I can't stress that enough when you're dyeing. It's happened to me, trust me, I can tell you from experience. In my early days of dyeing, I kind of wasn't thorough enough on it and was half-assed, and I didn't use gloves either this time around, and you can see my hands are all green. Huh? Lovely. Anyway, look, too late for the gloves now. So what we're going to do now is we're going to dry this, and I've got my hair dryer here, and I got up on number 3 for heat, and I'm going to put a number 3 for power. and we'll go through it. So what I'm going to do is, it could take about 10 minutes. 10 minutes of constantly moving it around, back and forth, before it's dry properly and I'm happy. So I'm going to stay going through this here, and then I'll come back once it's dry. Now, and eventually, you end up with a lovely dyed, you can see it there, put under the light, a lovely dyed olive Hares Mask. Absolutely lovely. What a lovely colour. And like I said just before I started to dry it, that's the colour that I use for all my olive size. It's a really nice, it's a ginger golden olive toned down with a darker olive, and it just gives you that lovely colour. And so that's it, like that's practically dry. Now what I'll do there now is I'll bring it in and I'll throw it on top of the radiator, and I'll leave it there for the evening. And before I bag it away, I'll leave it out like this for a few days before I bag it away. So just making sure there's no moisture on it and no mold can fall. But that's it there now. So that's effectively it, guys. Nothing to dyeing a Hares Mask, and I said you get a good bit of dubbing off that, like, you know, you get a tub of dubbing off that. So you know, it lasts you a while. I like to mix it up. I like to add UV and stuff to it. I'll make a video on cutting this up and how I blend it. I like to blend it with olive CDC as well, but I'll make a video on that. They have really good dubbing I use, and that's what this is intended for. So I'll follow up a video with this one and mixing it with making my CDC dubbing. But look, I hope you enjoyed watching that. Give it a go. It is experimental, as I always say when we're dyeing. It's, you know, it's trial and error until you get it right. And the beauty about, you know, buying Hares Mask and having rabbit fur is it's cheap. So if you know, you can't really mess it up, but you know, until you get the colours you want, until you get used to dyeing and you know how to get the tones you want, you know, you can go too dark, you can go too light. Okay, so that's it. You can't mess it up, like, you know, you can't destroy the skin, or you will end up with a for argument's sake, for this one here, you will end up with an olive fur, but it might not be the tone you want. It could be too dark, or you know, and if it's a thing that, add it gradually is what I'd say. If it's a thing that that the dye is too light, the fur is too light, you can go again, you know, add it in again, tone it down a bit darker and go again. But it's just, do it gradually until you get it. But when you eventually you get to a stage where you'll know the colour, and you know the how much dye to add, and you'll know how to get that straight away. So that's basically it. There's you know, like I said, it is trial and error, and you know, you learn as you go. But look, I hope you enjoyed watching that. Always enjoy giving these tutorials, so I hope you take something from this, and if you're giving it a go, hopefully you do it right, you get the colour you want. But like I said, start off light and gradually tone it down, you know, because you can always re-add it, you know, you can always dye them, you know. Just because you dye it and you get one colour doesn't mean that's it, it's done, you know. You can always add it again, so tone it down things. So I would always start off a little bit light until you get it, okay. But you know what, you'll know once you rinse it off, you know the colour that's in it. And if you think you want darker, then just add a little bit more dye to it, add it in and go again. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. All the best until next time.